This is a very wonderful, joyous song by a Gaudiya poet named Shivai Das. I don't know a lot about him, but there's a wonderful book, one of the first compilations of Gaudiya Vaishnava Padyavali, or songs, called Padakalpataru. It's 3 volumes. The books that I purchased in years ago, the Kolkata Book Fair, they were really expensive. It cost me 50 rupees each book, and they're about 200 years old, the particular volumes. This is a reprint. It's a very, very old book. And this Shivai Das has a number of songs in there, and this particular one is about Janmashtami. So while they're setting up, I'll just explain a little bit about the song. Swarge dundubi bhaje nache deva gun. That in Swarga Lok, the devatas, they're playing the dundubi drums. And all of the devatas, nache deva gun, they're all dancing and dancing. And they're calling out throughout, the sound is going throughout the universe. Dvani bharya bhuvan, what is that sound? Hari, hari, hari. Hari, hari, hari. Hari, hari, hari. Hari, hari, hari. It's a little better. Brahmana Shiva nache Ada nache Indra. Brahma's dancing with his 4 heads, Lord Shiva's dancing with his 5 heads, and Indra's dancing. Gokule Goyala nache Paya Govindan. And all the Gwalas, all the cowherd people in Braj, they're dancing because they've gotten Govinda Krishna. Nandira mandire re Goyala Aila Daya Hati Kati Kande Bhanu Bada, Nache Taya Taya. And when all the Gwalas, all the cowherd people, I like that word Gwala, it's a really sweet Brajbasi word. When all the cowherd people in Braj heard the wonderful news, and we'll say something more about this later on, how Mother Yashoda really wanted to become pregnant. And I'll just give you a little taste from Jiva Goswami. He said that, I've observed over the years, ladies, please don't mind me saying this, but sometimes there's a little envy there when someone gets pregnant and you'd really like to be pregnant and you feel happy, but there's also a little feeling. But in Braj, there's no envy. And when Mother Yashoda wanted to become pregnant, and she was trying and trying for so many years, and she couldn't, all the ladies of Braj decided we're not going to wear any ornaments until Yashoda becomes pregnant. They were all in solidarity. So when they all heard that Yashoda had given birth, they went mad. And everyone came running, just like we're coming running to the temple. And today I want to tell you something too about the history of Janmashtami and the story of the first Janmashtami festival. Not, of course, Krishna's appearance is a Janmashtami festival, but that wasn't an official kind of festival. It happened a little later, and we'll say something about that. So everyone came running to the house of Nanda Maharaj, and hate lati kande bhara nache tayatai. They weren't walking, they were dancing, and they were all carrying different things with them. Srila Prabhupada in Nectar Devotion, he instructs that whenever we come to the temple, we should come with some offering for the Lord. Maybe it's 1 rupee coin, or maybe it's a truckload of bhoga, or whatever it is, but we should bring something to give to Krishna, especially on his appearance day. Dadi dugda grita gola angane dalia. And then what happened, somebody had made a pot of butter, and in that kirtan somebody swiped it off the altar, and they started throwing it. And in that courtyard, they were going completely mad in ecstasy. Dadi dugda drita. They were throwing yogurt and milk and ghee and gola, buttermilk. And Nanda Maharaj, that old man who thought it wasn't possible for him to have a child, nache re, Nanda Govinda Paya. Getting Govinda, Nanda Maharaj, that old man, was jumping up and down, Haribo, 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 and crying and chanting in ecstasy. Ananda Hoila Buddha, Ananda Hoila. Everyone was experiencing great ecstasy. Edasa Shivaya Mana Bolia Rohila, except one person, and that's Shivai Das, who couldn't join the party. He was forgotten and he remains behind. And there's something also we want to speak about today, if we have a little time. I do tell you a Puranic story about two brothers who observed Janmashtami, one in a brothel and one in a temple. And the one in the brothel went back to Godhead, and the one in the temple went to hell. It's a very interesting point. And it raises the question, what does it mean to observe Janmashtami? So, are we ready with this song? Okay, there it is. So we'll sing this in a raga called Asabari, which Asabari means the great hope. It's a very sweet raga. But we'll sing a few verses together to begin. You know, it's really nice when you, Prabhuji, when you begin kirtan, before the song begins, you just do a little tal or something on the mridanga. You let their instruments speak for themselves for a moment. Yeah, what does it have to say? Diktan, diktan, digitan, diktan, diktan, it can speak. Let's do this. So everyone can sing together. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachadane Nirvasesa Shunyavadi Paschachadi Shatadane Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Swage dundu bi bhaje nache deva gana. Swage dundu bi bhaje nache deva gana. Swage dundu bi bhaje nache deva gana. Hare 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 Dhvani Bharila Bhuvana. Hare 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 Dhvani Bharila Bhuvana. Hare 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 Dhvani Bharila Bhuvana. Hare 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 Lila Bhuvana Brahmana e Shivanache Adanache Indra Brahmana Shivanache Adanache Indra Brahmana e Shivanache Adanache Indra Gokule Goyala Nache Paya Govinda Gokule Goyala Nache Goyala Nache Paya Govinda Mandir Mandir Eje Goya Aila Daiya Mandira Mandire Re Goy Yala Aila Dai Nandira Mandire Re Goya Laila Daura Hate Late Kande Bhara Nache Taya Taya Hate Late Bhande Bhara Nache Taya Taya Yadi Dugda Krita Geula Angani Dalia Dugda Krita Gola Angani Dalia Dadi Krita Gola Angani Dali Nachire Nachire Nanda Govinda Paya Nachire Nachire Nanda Govinda Paya Ananda Hoila Bhadda Ananda Hoila Ananda Hoila Bhadda Ananda Hoila Eda Shri Shri Varaman Eda Shri Shivaya Mana Bhulaya Rohila Eda Shri Shivaya Mana Bhulaya Rohila Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gora Bhakta Brinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gora Bhakta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Bolo Bolo Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare same beat Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Ha Sorry. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radhe. Jaya Radha, Radha, Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe. Oh Hare Bo, Hare Krishna, Laha Gorangera Namare Bolo. Laha Gorangera Namare, Jai Jana Goranga Baje, Se Hoyamara Pranare, Jai Jana Goranga Baje, Se Hoyamara Pranare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yashaiva Bhakti But before I begin, I also wanted to try to render some service in a way that hopefully is a little pleasing, because what is the use of just a mosquito's association with the king? And also I wanted to come here to try to associate with all of you. Because Janmashtami, but for the personified feelings, the personified love of the divine Simhachalam. What does the Hare Krishna mantra mean? Please, Krishna, engage me in your service. And then Krishna shows up, says, okay, here I am. Go ahead and serve me now. And that's the form of the deity. Because in Kali Yuga, everything is based on the holy name. And from the holy name, from the hearts of the devotees, come the deity. Similarly, in the Janmashtami festival, from the hearts of the devotees, in a very sweet, loving Sangha, Krishna really, truly appears. It's not just some ritual. So I wanted to read you a little something to you from the prayers of Lord Brahma. It's from the 14th chapter. And taste a little something, 4 different commentaries. This is text number 1. For those of you, that babies when they're born with the phone, you're coming here and becoming their child. Still, you're in the debt. You're in debt to your devotees. And Krishna tells the gopis in the Bhagavatam, Naparayeham nidavadyasam yujam susabudayasapiva. I don't know how to repay my debt. Coming, waiting for that. In Vaishnav says Lord Brahma is praying to Krishna, coming. Do that. Right? You times relate Vaishnav Toshini. Devotees don't want that. So Bhaktivinoda says that Bhaya and Asha, or fear, worshipping Krishna out of fear. I'm here, Krishna, I hope you see me. I don't want to go to hell. I'm observing Janmashtami. Please notice me here. Krishna's not really so impressed with that. That they're showing up in the temple because they're afraid. Or Asha, here I am, Krishna, give me lots of money. I heard if I just show up for Janmashtami, I'll get so much wealth and so many things. Better than that is Kartibya Buddhi. Kartibya Buddhi is out of a sense of duty. Shastra says I should do. I'm supposed to because Krishna gives everything. I should come. I should reciprocate and appreciate him. Prabhupada says, Gurudev says I should come for Janmashtami. That's my duty. Kartibya Buddhi is much better than Bhaya or Asha. But the real motivation is out of rag, some attraction, some feeling for Krishna. And that's what's pleasing to Krishna. So, in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, it says, Bharashe tu kartabhya, that we should do Janmashtami. It's a Shastra conjunction. But then it also describes, in text 267, is one verse. There's like maybe 100 verses talking about all the terrible things which will happen to you if you don't observe Janmashtami. And there's another 100 verses talking about all the wonderful things you'll get: a beautiful wife, a nice husband, lots of children, you'll become Indra, you'll get this and that if you observe Janmashtami. And then there's one verse which speaks about the real motivation of the devotees. We have to be careful. Hari Bhakti Vilas is not such an easy book to understand, is it? Because it's written for different persons, for different motivations. So what is my motivation? That's our question. Am I doing this out of fear? Am I doing this out of kartibya buddhi, out of some sense of duty? Am I doing it out of asha because I want something? Or am I doing it to please Guru and Krishna? Am I doing it to get association with the devotee? So in text 267, he says that many kings, like Prahlad Maharaj, they observed Janmashtami because Pitaye Krishna Vallabha, because Krishna gets pleasure. That's why we do it. Our Fakir Mohan Prabhu once asked a question to us. Some of you may know him, one of my teachers, wonderful sadhu, lifelong Gaudiya Vaishnav. He once asked us, why do we chant Hare Krishna? Well, that's pretty obvious, right? And somebody said, well, Harinam or Harinam. He said, no. He said, what? And somebody else said, well, to get Krishna prema. He said, no. And he rejected one after another, all of our reasons. And finally he explained, he said, we chant Krishna's name because Krishna likes to hear it. Because it brings pleasure to Krishna. And that's why that's the highest reason why we should perform Janmashtami. Now, looking back, all those terrible things we said about eating on Janmashtami, I may have to take something today. The doctor told me to. Srila Prabhupada told devotees you should not take grains on Janmashtami. But Prabhupada himself, on a number of different occasions, took grains. And Shastra says that if you have some health issues, you have some problems, you should take. Our purpose in coming here is not out of fear of sin. Krishna tells us in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Sarva dharmam parityaga. Give up your religion, and I'll protect you from sin. He doesn't say give up sin and I'll give you religion. He says give up your religion and I'll protect you from sin. In one conversation in Los Angeles, Prabhupada was reading something in the Bhagavatam about Varnashram Dharma, a very controversial subject. I'm trying not to say anything really controversial, but I'm just repeating Prabhupada. And afterwards, I think it was Madhavananda Prabhu raised his hand and said, Prabhupada, how do we practice Varnashram? And Prabhupada looked at him and he said, how did you come here? And Madhavananda Prabhu was quiet for a moment. We didn't understand what does Prabhupada mean. Prabhupada said, how did you come to this path of bhakti? Were you doing Varnashram Dharma before? Madhavananda said, no, no, Srila Prabhupada. You came here, the only wealth you have, the only qualification you have is bhakti. And therefore the 11th canto, 3rd chapter of the Bhagavatam, 11.3.31, says, Bhakti sanjayate bhaktya. That bhakti comes from bhakti. Life comes from life. So this is all that we have. This is our only qualification. Is the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, the mercy of our Gurudev. That's why we're here. So I'd like to just tell you a little something also from the same 15th chapter. In the Bhavishya Puranas, this is quoted by Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and Hari Bhakti Vilas. I just mention it because Bhavishya Purana is not a Purana I often quote. It's probably considered to be the most interpolated of all the Puranas. Bhavishya means a prediction for the future. But they're quoting it, so I feel confident. Yudhishthira Maharaj asked Krishna, he says, how do we observe Janmashtami, and when did it start? And what are the benefits for it, and what are the rules for observing it? And Krishna told Yudhishthira Maharaj, he said that in Mathura, after we killed Chanura and Mushtika, after we killed Kamsa, at that time, the members of the different dynasties, the Kukura and Andaka dynasties, they surrounded Vasudeva and Devaki. And Devaki put me in her lap, and she began to cry. My son, my son. And then Vasudeva came and embraced Balaram and I. And Vasudeva said, today my life has become successful because I'm able to see you. And then, seeing that my parents were happy, everyone else became happy. And they all said, today Krishna is really born. Because Janmashtami is not just a particular ritualistic observance, but it's the day that Krishna appears in the hearts of the devotees. And because Krishna has appeared on this day, which I think was also his birthday, that on that day, someone could check that and correct me. But on this day, Kamsa has been killed, so the demons have gone. And on this day, we should observe this festival. And then they prayed to Krishna. Yasmin dine prayusyeta devaki tvam janardana tad dinam dehi vaikunta kurmaste tatachotsavam samyak bhakti prapananam prasadam kuru keshava. Krishna, you're that personality who removes all of the different suffering of living entities. So please tell us about this day that Devaki gave birth to you, and we want to observe a festival in your honor. Vasudeva was very astonished when he heard that. He looked at Balaram, and the hairs of his body stood on an end in ecstasy. And then Krishna speaking this to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Then Krishna said, at that time I revealed the observance of Janmashtami to the people of Mathura. And I told them that all of you should all come together, and you should observe this Janmashtami festival. Any children who is 8 years or older, they should also observe it. Just like in Shastra it says, Asta Varshadiko Bala, that any child who's 8 years or older should observe Ekadasi. And during the monsoon season, the 8th day of the dark fortnight of the month of Bhadra, and the monsoon season very kindly came yesterday to help remind us of the appearance of Krishna. When the sun had entered Leo and the moon was in Taurus, conjuncted with the star Rohini, the halfway point of the night, I was born of the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. And so this observance, Krishna said, this is Janmashtami Brata. And on this day you should celebrate a great festival, and you should also give respect to my mother. So to do that today, I want to speak something around noontime. There's an Abhishek in someone's house, I think. I don't know what's happening. But Akila Prabhu's house. I want to speak something about Devaki and also Yashoda. And then this evening we want to speak something about who was really Krishna's mother. It's controversial. It's bigger than any ISKCON controversy. It's much bigger than Lady Gurus or the fall of the Jiva or anything like that. So you come.
Nobody should record your lecture.
And so then Krishna told Yudhishthira that it was from that time on that everybody began to perform Janmashtami because of the happiness of Vasudeva and Devaki. So I want to finish, I'll tell you a story which is from the Vayu Purana. This is a history about Janmashtami. And there was a Brahmin named Sushil who lived in a village named Nandibar. He had two sons named Subrita, he was the oldest, and Britta. Britta was the younger. And both these sons were very good boys. They were very learned. They had very good qualities. And they set out traveling. They came to Prayag. And on that day, it was Krishna Janmashtami. So they were very excited that they decided we'll go attend a festival in the temple here. And as they were going, it started raining suddenly. And it really started raining, really, really heavily. And seeing there's no shelter there, they were confused, not knowing what to do. Subrita, the older brother, saw a house nearby. Oh, I'll go there and take shelter. But he saw then, this is a house of prostitution. It's a brothel, not a very nice place to go, but it's really raining. I've got no choice. So he went and took shelter there. And Britta, he thought, my brother's really in Maya big time. Going to the brothel. Better to walk in the rain, man. And so he was very determined. And he walked to the temple. It took him a long time. And finally he arrived at the temple there in Prayaga, Beni Madhav, famous ancient deity. But at the temple, although there were so many festivities going on, and the Abhishek and worship and reading from Shastras and Kirtan and different things, Britta's mind, the younger brother who was there at the temple, his mind wasn't there. And he kept thinking about his brother. And he thought, my brother's very fortunate. There's a lot of really beautiful girls there in that brothel. And there's no good-looking women here at the Janmashtami festival. Not this Janmashtami festival. We have lots of beautiful women here. But he was thinking, there's no beautiful girls here. I missed out. My brother's having a good time there in the brothel, and I'm just hanging out here with all these Hare Krishna people. And what kind of benefit am I getting? And he thought that brothel actually, really, it's an auspicious place because that's where love sports are going on. Because the whole world is all about love. And here is just some rituals and things. My brother must be embracing a woman. He was thinking in so many ways like that. Meanwhile, Subrita was also observing Janmashtami, but he was doing it at the brothel. But his mind also wasn't in that place. And he was thinking of his younger brother, Britta. And he was thinking, my brother Britta, he's so fortunate. I am in this terrible, sinful, horrible place. So bad. And my brother, he's at the temple, Beni Madhav. He gets to see the Abhishek. He gets to be in the kirtan with all the devotees and things. And he was thinking about that. How unfortunate I am. How many lives of sinful activities must I have done to be here in Prayag on Janmashtami, and I'm stuck in a brothel with a bunch of prostitutes. It's terrible. So they were in this way, they were spending their nights, each thinking about the other. Early the next morning, he left from the brothel, the rain stopped, and Britta left from the Beni Madhav temple, and they happened to meet along the way. And by a very strange coincidence, suddenly a bolt of lightning came from the sky and hit them, and they both died. That's what it says in the Purana. At that time, 2 Vishnu Dutas showed up, and 3 Yamadutas. And the Vishnu Dutas, they came and they took Subrata, who had spent the night at the brothel. They said, you got to come with us. We're taking you to the spiritual world. And the Yamadutas, they said, that's the guy. They pointed at Brata, the younger brother. We're taking us with you to hell. And when they heard that, when Subrata heard that, he said, no, please, I don't want to go to the spiritual world without my brother. This is not right. And it's not fair. I didn't do anything. I didn't do any abhishek. There was no kirtan in the brothel. There was no Krishna Katha in the brothel. Just a bunch of things we don't want to talk about. And my brother, he was doing everything, hanging out with the Hare Krishnas and chanting and dancing and taking and seeing the abhishek and everything. And those Vishnu Dutas, they smiled and they said, Shrinu Dharma Rahasyam Tvam. We want to tell you something about this confidential Dharma. Vichitram Romaharshanam Karmanam Kritimatram tu Nadadati Phalam Mahat Savesham Api Karmanam Manasudhi Karanam Manasa Chanchaliniaiva Kritam Karma Chadukadam Manasa Chintito Vapi Dharma Phala Vivardana. Very important. Manasa Chintito Vapi. He said, you should hear from us this Dharma Rahasya, that if you do something, Karamanam Kriti Matram too, just like Jiva Goswami in Gopal Champu, he says that when Krishna was a little boy, he saw the Brijbasis running around. And he says they were, this is Nanda Vrindavan Champu in Kavi Karnapur. And he asked his father, he says, what is everybody, they're running around like a bunch of robots. The Brijbasis. And what were they doing? They were getting ready for Indra Puja. It was something they weren't doing with their hearts, but they were doing because we're supposed to do that. And Krishna stopped that. No, don't do for that reason. So, someone who does karmanam tu kritam matram, not tu nadadati phalam mahat, you don't get the real fruit of the activity if we just do it in a mechanical way. Rather, in all activities, sarvesham api karmanam mana sudhikaranam, purity of the mind is very important. We have to have a proper sankalpa. We have to have a proper attitude. What am I doing? Why am I here? Why did I come? Manasa chanchalinaiva. If you have a fickle mind, yeah, I'm here, I heard the class, I know, but I really need some money. I really have some monetary problems. Or I'm having problems. The temple president doesn't appreciate me. Please, Krishna, please let him understand me. I understand I should have this good motivation, but my mind is chanchala. It's going here and there. Karma chadukadam. Then what activities you perform in that way, you don't get the proper result. You get some anxiety. But manasa chintito vapi dharma phala vivardanaha. If we perform this activity with a fixed mind, then we get a proper fruit. So when Subrata heard that, he said, that's okay, but my brother, he's going to hell. I don't want this. What can I do to deliver him? And they said, look, you did so many pious things before. You're chanting Hare Krishna. You're doing this. You give him the fruit of some of that, and that'll deliver him from hell. And so he was delivered both of them went to the spiritual world. So the purport is that Janmashtami is something we want to do with our heart. It's not just a ritualistic activity for the Hindus, with all respect. Prabhupada sometimes said we're Hindus also. It's not just some ritualistic thing that we do, but it means to make Krishna appear. And when and where does Krishna appear? Lord Nrsingadev is here, but Lord Nrsingadev wasn't the first personality here. Before Lord Nrsingadev was the devotees in this yatra. And by the prayers and the chanting of the devotees, Lord Nrsingadev appeared. Just as the same in Treta Yuga, Prahlad Maharaj was there before Lord Nrsingadev. And because Prahlad was there, Lord Nrsingadev arrived. Krishna consciousness came to America after Srila Prabhupada. When Srila Prabhupada came to America, we can understand Krishna's coming. When the devotees come together, they do kirtan, we can understand Krishna's coming. And not just in the form of some rituals. When we do these abhishek, we're not doing it just because this is what we're supposed to do by Shastra, but we do it because it gives Krishna pleasure. It gives pleasure to our acharyas. Our acharyas have said we should do this abhishek. We should have this wonderful artik because Mother Yashoda was doing that. The Brijbasis are doing it. And seeing that worship, it reminds us of them. Just like one sadhu was asked a question, why do you people wear dhotis and saris? And he gave such a good answer. That's another controversial thing, I'm sorry, but I really liked his answer. His answer was to remind us of the residents of Vrindavan. Because when we go to Vrindavan, that's what they wear. They wear dhotis and saris, and it reminds us of them. It reminds us of their devotion. So we come together for this festival, and it's not complete unless the devotees have loving interactions, unless we do some service. And that's why I'm here. So I'm trying to do a little humble service for Krishna-ksetra Maharaj, and I'm getting nervous that I spoke for too long. So I think I should stop there. Shri Krishna Janmashtami ke, Shri Radha Govinda ke, Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveda Bhakta Binda ki, Gaur Premanande, Vancha Kalpatarubhischa, Kripa Sindhu Bhyeva Champatitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Binda ki Jai.
Thank you. Very nice, very sweet. Very sweet, but
not complete.
Not complete. Oh, no, I was going to say that hearing what warns in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Have to be careful now. Good. I suggest that before we proceed, we all stand up and stretch.
Hari Bol.
And while we're standing up and stretching, I'd like to ask about our schedule, what time I should stop. Me too.
I think you should stop before the Abhishek tonight.
Somewhere Gauranga. Nityananda. Gauranga. Nityananda. Gauranga. Nityananda. Gauranga. Nityananda. Gaur let's see. Govinda De Prabhu, are you there? What's our schedule? What time should I?
At 12 will be the next Abhishek, so if you stop latest 20 minutes before or half an hour before,
Haribo!
Maybe I can
Yes,
get
Master.
the harmonium.
Why don't we shift these things here? Leela, can you grab the end of this? Otherwise it's going to steam.
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala
Srila Prabhupada ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Shri Shri Prahlad Lakshmi Narasimhadeva ki Shri Shri Radhika Girihari ki Gaur Premanande. Hearing about proper motivation for celebrating Janmashtami, I became more and more worried about myself. I was remembering being in Vrindavan during Janmashtami in the year 2001, and all right, confession time. My motivation was not entirely what we hear it should be. I was there doing so-called research. I was in the Radharaman temple during their Abhishek, which they begin mercifully at 11 o'clock in the morning. No. Mercifully, because around, 1 or 2 o'clock it was completed. They bathe Radharaman with a lot of milk. A lot. For hours of milk. And then here's the merciful thing, that when it's over, they close the curtain and the pujaris come out with big buckets of charanamrita. And everyone rushes forward. They're already prepared. They come with their stainless steel containers, big containers, and hold them out, and pujaris fill them up. And in this way, everyone enjoys the amrita from the charanas, from the lotus body of Radharaman, at about 1 in the afternoon. Not breaking the fast. Charanamrita.
It's not food.
Yeah, it's not food. So, what I thought I will do, will help my machine here. Just read some things. To reflect on Krishna's appearance, but also I think we have to also reflect on Krishna's apparent disappearance, his absence. It's a kind of paradox. We heard so nicely how Krishna appears where his devotees come. But at the same time, the devotees have this feeling of Krishna's absence. And this is the feeling which prevails in Vrindavan, even when Krishna is present in Vrindavan. Even when Krishna is present in Vrindavan, he's off to the forest. We're waiting for him to come from the forest. He comes back, but then very soon he's gone again. The Bhagavatam, as you know, begins in the first canto essentially describing the disappearance of Krishna. we start hearing about Krishna's either his absence or his soon to be absence. I think we want to open more windows actually. Can we open this one?
This one doesn't open. Yeah, we could open the door a little bit more also.
Yeah.
I mean, opening the second part of the door.
This window doesn't open. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Is it possible to open? Yes. Shama Haridas. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, thank you. We hear about Krishna's absence. Queen Kunti is praying to Krishna as he's about to leave. As he's about to leave from Hastinapur. She's speaking words of remembrance of Krishna's presence and how Krishna has protected the Pandavas. And she is expressing her gratitude. And she's anticipating that Krishna is going to leave. And in her anticipation of Krishna leaving, she's praying to Krishna, please let my attraction be for you in the same way as the Ganga flows to the ocean, unhindered. And she says, let me give up my attraction, my attachment to both sides of my family. I want to be attracted to you only. And she understands there's a condition for that. You can't have attraction, attachment in this world and expect that your attraction for Krishna will be unhindered. So she wants this unhindered attraction. We come to the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and there, early in the canto, in chapter 2 and 3, we meet Uddhava. And Uddhava has been with Krishna. Krishna has been with Uddhava in Mathura. And now, and after this, he has been with Krishna where? Somewhere on the bank of some river. And they have discussed, Uddhava has received instruction, extensive instruction from Uddhava, as preparation for Krishna to leave. And then Uddhava, who can't bear that Krishna has left, who does he meet? In the third canto? He meets Vidura. Yes. He meets Vidura, and Vidura induces Uddhava to speak about Krishna. And now Uddhava is speaking about Krishna, summarizing his pastimes out of feelings of separation from Krishna. We heard yesterday what do the gopis do out of their feeling of separation from Krishna?
They sing.
Huh?
They sing.
They sing. What else do they do?
Imitate Krishna.
They imitate Krishna, yes. And out of this imitation comes devotional drama. And we understand all the arts come out of the Rasa Lila, Krishna and the gopis. But before this, in the in the third canto of Bhagavatam, you have Uddhava pouring out his heart, essentially, to Vidura in his feeling of separation from the Lord. And then we hear cantos 4, canto 5, canto 6, canto 7, canto 8, canto 9. We don't hear much about Krishna, but we hear about his various avatars and his devotees, and how eager his devotees are to meet the Lord. Eager devotees such as Prahlad Maharaj in the 7th canto. So that when we come to the end of the 9th canto of the Bhagavatam, we are ready to begin to hear about Krishna. And what we hear about Krishna at the very end of the 9th canto is a 2-verse summary of the whole life of Krishna. So I thought, as we anticipate Krishna's appearance, it's nice to know in advance what Krishna does. Jato gata pichigrihat prajam editarto hatvari pun sutashatani kritorudana utpadyate purusha kratubi samije atmanamatma nigamam pratayanjaneshu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, known as Lila Purushottam, appeared as the son of Vasudeva, but immediately left his father's home and went to Vrindavan to expand his loving relationship with his confidential devotees. In Vrindavan, the Lord killed many demons. And afterward, he returned to Dwaraka, where, according to Vedic principles, he married many wives who were the best of women, begot through them hundreds of sons, and performed sacrifices for his own worship to establish the principles of householder life. And next verse, Pritya. This is, if you're taking notes, this is 9:24:67. Pritya savai guru varam shapayan kurunam antasamutta kalina yuti bhupachanva drishya vidhuya vijaye jayamudvigosha prochudhavaya chaparang samagat svadama. Thereafter, Lord Sri Krishna created a misunderstanding between family members just to diminish the burden of the world. Simply by his glance, he annihilated all the demonic kings on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Simply by his glance. And declared victory for Arjuna. Finally, he instructed Uddhava about transcendental life and devotion, and then returned to his abode in his original form. So we get the whole story in 2 verses, and we may hear this and feel like, if we hadn't heard anything about Krishna other than this, we might think, okay, interesting story, quite some adventures, maybe some sort of a hero. And that's all very nice, so what's next? Well, all of this has been, of course, in preparation for the Lord to appear in Canto 10. And as we heard, it's quite a great joy to all the devotees when the Lord does appear. I thought to read some verses, translation of verses, that Srila Rupa Goswami collected. He had, some of us have verse books, favorite verses. I know Madhavananda Prabhu has several verse books. Now he used to carry around piles of verse books.
They've started charging too much money.
Now he has them all in his little machine. So Rupa Goswami compiled verses in a book called the Padyavali, and it's been translated by various translators, but there's a translation that is on its way, that's coming. It's going to be very first class because the translator is very first class in so many ways. Gopinathacharya Prabhu in Oxford. But before I read this, I want to remind us that the Bhagavatam teaches in three different ways. Vedam Puranam Kavyam Cha Prabhur Mitra Priyeva Cha Bodhayantiti Hi Prahus Trivrid Bhagavatam Puna. Jiva Goswami quotes that that there are three ways. The Vedas teach generally in the mood of a Prabhu, a master, a king, giving orders and giving warnings, like the Hari Bhakti Vilasa. And then we learn, especially from the Puranas, in the way a friend teaches us. And we heard this beautiful story from which Purana was it? The Vamana Purana, about the two celebrants of Janmashtami in two different places. And then Kavyam is the way Kavya or poetry is taught, the way of teaching of a beloved or a lover. And so Trivid Bhagavata Punaha, all three of these are found in the Bhagavatam. And the Bhagavatam has inspired poets. This is one of the special features of the Bhagavatam. You don't find this so much of the Vamana Purana, the Skanda Purana, the Padma Purana. You don't find so much poetry inspired by these Puranas, but you do find so much poetry inspired by the Bhagavata Purana, the Srimad Bhagavatam, and of course mainly from the 10th canto. And so I think it's appropriate that we read poetry, some of this poetry from, in this case, first of all, from an unknown poet. Rupa Goswami collected from poets that are known and also poets that are not known. And in the beginning, he's divided his book into sections. There are over 300 verses altogether in this Padyavali. And in he divides into themes, and the first theme is about Krishna's childhood. And so these are meditations on Krishna's childhood. And I think this is very much what Janmashtami Titi celebration is about, is inviting us to picture Krishna and the devotees of Krishna in Vrindavan, whose mood, whose relationship with Krishna is one in which they have no idea, there's no sense whatsoever that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. quite the opposite. He is just this most incredibly charming little baby, totally helpless. And so sweet. Do you want to hear one of these? No? Yes. No? Yes. Okay. I'll read slowly for our translators. Let's see, who's speaking here? The Brajvasis are speaking. No one go to the woods, to the forest today. Instead, bring all your cows and calves and gaily adorn them. For in Nanda's house a child has been born. And we heard how excited they were because there was no child for so long. And then finally, what was Nanda Maharaj doing when a child was born? What did we hear? Haribol! Can imagine Nanda Maharaj. This is for picturing. I invite you, dear devotees, please picture this scene. They, the Brajvasis, say this over and over, dancing and singing and causing an uproar. Hearts simply bursting with joy. Why do you linger there for no reason? Hurry! Rise up and run! Anything any of you imagined you might see, now see it with your very own eyes. Someone is marking heads with doob grass and curd. Another keeps clasping his feet. Another gives clothes and cows to celebrate the day. Another hops up and laughs and sings. Children and elders, women and men, everyone's wish has come 4 times true. 4 times true. They're so overcome with the love of Surdasa's Lord. Now I just realized halfway through, I completely announced this wrong. This is from Sur Sagar. This is one of the songs of Surdas. They're so overcome with the love of Surdasa's Lord that they give no thought to the king. The king, who's the king here? Nanda Maharaj. They're totally ignoring Nanda Maharaj. They're just excited about Krishna. Okay, now let me go to the Padyavali. And this is jumping a bit ahead in terms of when Krishna is older now. Actually, there are 3 periods of Krishna's childhood described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. There's the Komara age, his very early childhood. Komara, yeah. And then there's Poganda, when he's a young boy. It's a jolly time. It's when he ventures into the forest and he takes care of the calves. And there's 3 subheadings of each of these. And then there's the Kaishora age. There's an Adya, a Madhya, and a Shesha period within each of these. And they're all described in great detail. Before I read from Padyavali, do you want to hear the description of when he's a very small boy? He's up to age 1 year and 8 months? Yes. No? Yes. Yes, okay. He's very chubby. Do you know the word chubby? Plump. plump, little kind of fatty. Small babies, they're chubby. Yeah. His body is tender as blue lotuses. The edge of his eyes are white. Small, small, small teeth are beginning to show. And Mother Yashoda cannot stop looking at him. And as she's caring for him, she's arranging for a protective talisman. You know what a talisman is? Yeah, it's some hocus pocus to protect. Tiger claws. You know tiger claws? Yeah. So already in this very young age, he's wearing tiger claws. He has a cord around his waist. Is he wearing pants? No. What else? He has tilak marks, and he has mascara. Black mascara on the eyes. It's protective. This is the idea of mascara. So that's the Adya age. Well, there's a little also about his Madhya, his Komara Madhya age. Do you want to hear about that?
Yes.
No? Yes, okay. He's crawling now. Now, some of you are mothers and you know about children when they start crawling. That's when the trouble really starts, right? Because they get into everything. And they put everything in their mouth, right? Do you realize that you, one day, when you were small, were also doing this? But when Krishna is crawling, there's nothing, we cannot imitate that crawling. Let's see, his hair is swaying. He has broken language. Parents always like it when their children start speaking, babbling little half words, nonsense.
Papa. He said, Prabhupada, did you hear?
Yeah.
Papa.
Papa. Yeah. I shouldn't say this, but when I'm in China, the devotees say Jai Pao Pa, and I think of that. Jai Pao Pa, Jai Pao Pa. Okay. By this time, he's also having small pearls in his earlobes. He's already eating butter at this time. Ooh, yeah. Makara, right? And where am I? Yeah, so he's graduated already from, of course, he's taking mother's milk, but he's graduated. Now he's also taking butter. In the Shesha age, do you want to hear about this?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay. Now he's walking. Imagine, those of you who are mothers, you know how proud you are when your child starts walking, right? Now the trouble really starts. Now he's herding the calves. He's playing games on the outskirts of Gokula. And he dresses in a short dhoti, not a long dhoti, but a short dhoti. So sometimes we hear that dhotis are, I don't know, are they Vedic, are they not Vedic? I don't know, but Krishna wears a short dhoti. and he carries a stick. He imitates the older cowherd boys. When we see small children imitating their parents, it's very cute, isn't it? I remember seeing years and years ago, he's a grown man now, Haridas. He was maybe 4 years old, maybe less. And he would sit next to his father when his father would chant Gayatri. He would sit next to him, and he would sit like he's chanting Gayatri. Yeah, he would, like he had a Brahmin thread, and he would, yeah. By this time, he has a peacock feather in his hair. So Krishna didn't always have a peacock feather in his hair. Now he has a peacock feather. That's significant. His hair by now is long enough to tie in a top knot. Anyone here with a top knot? Oh, okay. Okay. So that's his Komara age. Okay. I leave the rest. It's in Nectar of Devotion. You can read all about it. Read all about it. Read all about it. Krishna is described here. Okay. Darudishta navanita vajanam Janu chankramana jatu sambramam Matriviti parivartitananam Keshavam kim api shaishavam bhaje.
Very naughty.
From afar, he catches sight of a pot of freshly churned butter. Hurriedly, he crawls toward it, glancing backwards in fear of his mother. That little boy, Keshava, I worship. More about stealing butter?
Yes. Yes.
No?
Yes.
Okay. Sammushnannavanitam antikamanishtam besvak bimbodkamam Drishtva mugdataya kumaram aparang sanchintayan shankaya Manmitram hibavan mayatra bhavato bhagasamakkalpito Mamang shuchaya shuchayetyanunayan balo hari patuva. These, by the way, are translations from this new translation that will come out from Gopinath Acharya Prabhu. While stealing butter, his own reflection in a crystal column nearby suddenly loomed into sight. We heard about Narcissus yesterday. Actually, that's a perverted version of what's happening here. Again, while stealing butter, his own reflection in a crystal column nearby suddenly loomed into sight. It means it suddenly came before him. Naively means ignorantly. He thought this another child. You are my friend. He appealed apprehensively. Here, I'll give you an equal share. Don't betray me. Don't betray. May the child Hari guard over you all. So in this case, he's seeing a reflection of himself, and he's thinking this is another child. And he's thinking, that child is going to we say in English, fink. He's going to fink on me. He's going to tell Mother Yashoda that I'm stealing. So he says, don't tell her. I'm going to give you as much as I have. We'll share it, okay? One more?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Yes. Dadi matanani nadais chatanitra pravate nibrita padamagaram vallavinam pravishta mukha kamala samirair ashunir vapyadipan kavalita navanita patumang bala Krishna. At dawn, the noise of churning curd breaks his slumber. Treading gently, he slips into the house of the milkmaids. Quickly blows out the lamps with his lotus mouth and gulps down the fresh butter. May the child Krishna protect me. So these are little prayers. The last two is, the previous one is a prayer for all of us. May he guard over you all, it says. Balohari Patu Vaha. And this one says, may he protect me, Patu Mam. So this is the mood of Vrindavan when Krishna is first appearing in Vrindavan. It's one of too much sweetness. So much sweetness is there. Finally, I think I will end with something with your indulgence. If we can put on the screen something which I wrote, and some of you have already heard, so my apologies in advance. It takes a minute to warm up the machine. So Krishna, as you know, Krishna appeared in Mathura. Did he stay very long in Mathura? In Mathura? Huh? In Mathura? He stayed a few minutes. Get me out of here. Yes. You see this painting? This is a painting by Sachit Ananda Das. And please look at the painting for a moment before I read my ekphrasis. What is an ekphrasis? An ekphrasis is a work of art which is based on another work of art. It's generally a literary work, and it's usually in reference to a visual work of art. It can be sculpture, it can be a painting. Okay, so this is, I've written something. It's not exactly a poem. It's just, I don't know what to call it. It's very free verse. And it's called A Night in the Museum. So now you can scroll down, because I think it'll be easier to follow if you can also read it. Here, you can read from mine. Oops. Yes. All visitors, the curious, the would-be art critics, the kids on school assignments, All have left the art museum. It's closing time. Lights out, doors are locked, and the last watchman has left for home. The high and wide walls of precious paintings and ponderous tapestries are silent. Their populations of battling warriors, primly posing princesses, sorry sailors on sinking ships, plump nude beauties, still lifes of rotting pomegranates and abstractions of no thing in particular, have all turned inward to themselves, resigned to their brush-stroked and framed or meticulously woven nocturnal destinies. All rooms are dark, except one. From where this light shines forth, over here on this side, yes, I might have known. Krishna, baby Krishna, is that you being your self-luminous, playful kid self again? Is this your brilliant, bluish rain cloud complexion lighting up my vision of you? Is that reassuring light flashing across the framed vestibule, the full moon, just prior to your servant Indra's bringing on his stormful clouds? Well, well, it's a grand show you have in the making, but no one's awake to see. The nameless guards, slumped in drunken stupor, are as good as dead. And it's good they're so, aiding your play, for you are fully alive, fresh-born and faultless, bouncing merrily out in your Father's confident arms as you show him the way out, eager to meet your beloved Yamuna. But what's the story with this gigantic multi-headed serpent? He must be a key player in your fun. Does Vasudev know he's there? Vasudev, whatever you do, don't turn around. Just keep walking swiftly. Swiftly, but oh so softly. Don't wake that little tiger, the guard's pet cat maybe. And for God's sake, for Krishna's sake, don't trip over that guard's left foot. Fresh-born Krishna, you know perfectly well where you are going, and you know the best way how to get there. You also know just how to inspire an artist to paint your clever escapade, giving him those mysterious skills of eye and hand to turn paint into magic emerging from his heart. So it's no surprise. You know how to give me the eyes to see you in his painting, and how to make the museum watchman absent-minded enough to leave me here just to have your undisturbed darshan in complete silence, careful not to trip the museum's alarm system. But did your artist know that you would end up confined here in this museum, even as he painted your great prison break? And did you tip him off that I would be captured by your carefree countenance as Vasudeva cradles you in his strong arms? The museum guards returning routinely tomorrow morning, turning on the lights and finding me here, will demand in anxious tones to know my means of access, my purpose, my identity. I will smile at them in reply and gesture toward you, baby Krishna. And as they look over to you, this little blue bundle of Satchit Ananda in Vasudeva's arms, guarded by the unlimited remainder, Ananta Shesha, will bless them. Or will you be already gone by then, hastening to meet your friends in Vrindavan? Hare Krishna. So now I want to ask you, because a couple of days ago I was asked, what is your favorite verse? And I kind of thought, well, I don't like these what are my favorite questions. But now I'm going to turn around and ask you, what are your favorite pastimes of Krishna? We're inviting Krishna we're welcoming Krishna today, especially today, but actually we want to welcome him every day into our lives. We heard also, Srila Prabhupada said 24 hours a day. You quoted, I believe. This is our practice. But all right, today, special day. So we want to welcome Krishna, and how do we welcome him? By remembering Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, or Krishna Smaranam. Today I think we're allowed to say Krishna Smaranam, even if the Bhagavatam says Vishnu Smaranam. What do you think? One day, today it's allowed. So what's your favorite pastime of Krishna? Anyone? Now everyone's... Sanjay.
I really like how Krishna is dashing the heads of Kaliya when he's dancing here.
You like Krishna dashing the heads of Kaliya?
Yes. That's highly attractive.
Why do you like that?
It's all powerful and also artistic and beautiful. All at the same time.
And it's rhythmic too, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, Munindra. Damodar Leela. What's so special about Damodar Leela? Microphone, yeah.
The loving exchange between Yeshua and Krishna.
Okay. Anyone else? Ladies? Yes, Nandimukhi.
Stealing butter. He loves butter. And so
We're getting more specific now.
Yeah, he likes eating butter. He steals butter. So today we have offered him fresh churned butter from our cow. Lakshmi, she gave us milk in the morning. We churn fresh butter for Krishna's pleasure.
And she doesn't have a calf.
Yes, that's
She's
true.
been giving, 7 liters, 8 liters of milk a day
Yes.
since some time
Yes.
with no calf. Haribo, Haribo. Yeah. I think some of you are not aware of what is makan. Makan, we say butter, but it's fresh butter. And it's made in a specific way. I don't remember it. There's different ways to make butter, but it's made in a special way. I've been fortunate to have on a couple of occasions. Have you had makan? Yeah. It's white color, right? The yellow that you see the butter, I think that's artificial actually. They add something to make it look yellow. It's white and it's very soft and it's out of this world. Anyone else? Yes, Prajmohi.
I also really like the Kaliya pastime, and for example, how Krishna before jumping into the lake, he's like checking his clothes and
he's tightening his belt, right?
Yeah.
He tightens his belt because if you're going to jump into the water, you don't want your clothes falling off, right? Yeah.
He also wants to look good.
He wants to look good, yes. Huh? Flamboyant. Yes, you know the word flamboyant. Putting on a show. Yeah. Yes, and then part.
I like the best Vastraharana Lila, Krishna Gopi Vastraharana, Krishna stealing the clothes of the gopis. My favorite. Yeah, it's so amazing. It's full of details. It's full of love. It's just best for me.
Best.
Like topmost.
Topmost.
Yeah, I cannot imagine anything beyond that. It's really.
Can you remember one detail for us?
There's so many details, and it can be also a little bit compared to Sankirtan. Pastime is in the beginning, like how gopis went together to the banks of the Yamuna together, holding hands, singing Krishna's holy names, and they vowed to they made a vow for a whole month to do special austerity to have their Krishna as husband, and that they did it together. They didn't want to do it individual because they recognized the power in unity, in Sankirtan, in joint endeavor.
That's very nice.
And that also attracted Krishna to come, and he was attracted by their love. Madhavananda Prabhu wrote a beautiful article years ago in his magazine with many details. I recommend to everybody. Because sometimes it can sound like controversial or, maybe like for very advanced devotees, but if I can read it and appreciate it, I think everybody can, if you read from proper sources, I think it's very endearing. It can really can make us come closer to Krishna and to his most beloved gopis, devotees. So
you want to comment on that?
It's also a lesson that when we come before God, we come naked without our upadhis, our designations and everything.
Yeah. It's interesting, it just occurs to me, this was on the first day of their vrata. It was the first day of their vrata because they vowed for 1 month, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that means on the first day already they got their wish fulfilled.
On the last day Krishna came, on 28th day. Yeah.
Oh, on the last day.
Krishna came, yes.
I thought it was the
For
first.
whole month they did.
Okay, so, yes.
And I found this interesting detail, it's really so endearing, how gopis appear even in Bhagavad Gita. When Krishna mentions that he's out of months, that he's Margashirsha.
Yes.
It says that he remembers that pastime. Therefore he says, I'm Margashirsha, this pastime happened there in that month. So it's interesting.
Thank you. The gopis also appear in Bhishma Dev's prayers. Here's Bhishma Dev, right? Bhishma. And he's dying. He's on a battlefield. And he's remembering Krishna and the gopis. Right? Best time to remember, yes. Yes, the microphone for.
I've had many, but first one, when you asked for that question, the first one that came to my mind was the Chamatkara Chandrikas. Like all four of them are wonderful, but the one that really sticks for me, like for my, is how Krishna induced Abhimanyu to bring him to Radharani in the basket where Yashoda Mai put the jewels and gifts for Radhika, and she tries to convince Abhimanyu that bring this to your wife, and and Krishna secretly hides inside.
Yes,
that's so sweet. And then Jatila is like, bring it to Radharani's room, and don't disturb her when she's discovering what gifts she got from Yashoda.
Yes, it's understood that all of the rasas in Vrindavan are supporting isn't it? They're surrounding and they're supporting the Adi Rasa. And so everyone in Vrindavan, including Jatila and Abhimanyu, they're actually supporting that rasa. Say again.
Anvayavyat, you know this.
Oh, Anvayavyatarekavya, Yat Sarvatra Sarvada. Yes. Yes, that's true. Anyone else? Yes, Kirtidas.
For me, it was when Draupadi speak with Krishna the day before the Kurukshetra war, and it was so strong because she knew what's gonna happen. The kid's gonna die, and she said, "Krishna, why that? Why that's gonna happen?" And he looked at her so strongly, and he said, "Just because I want you to think only on me." It was so powerful for me. Like I'm a mother, and that's the hardest thing, that, and so a powerful message from Krishna.
Draupadi knew before the battle that her children were going to be killed? Yeah? You know better than I do. Yeah, it's very powerful, very touching. Yes, Tirunalita. Wait. Shri microphone is coming to me.
My favorite pastimes are described in the Srila Rupa Goswami's drama Vidagdha Madhava. But I can't say what part is favorite. Maybe just part when Madhu Mangal is making fun of Jatila. But I wouldn't go now into a whole drama, but I also like the pastimes. It's a swing festival that we have of Radha Krishna. It appears to me in my own heart as just enjoyable for Krishna and Radharani, and carefree, just swinging. And there is also one part when Krishna swings Radharani so high and she's afraid. It's also like sort of fun part.
Carefree but afraid. Freely afraid. Kishori Kunda.
Dass er nicht zu ihr kam vorher und dann erscheint er vor ihr als Hummel, um sich dann wieder einzuschleichen. Aber Radharani hat ihn gleich erkannt und hat, Krishna, jetzt erscheinst du wieder hier als Hummel und wird sich bei dir wieder einschleichen. Und vorher hast du da mit den Gopis da rumgespielt, oder so ähnlich. Ja, Also ich fand das auch niedlich.
I'm not familiar with the pastime, so I don't know if I can repeat it. There is what somehow Radharani, she became a little upset with Krishna, and then he took the form of a bumblebee to come back there and have her association, but she detected that this is Krishna again, and yeah, I'm not sure if I got the gist of the thing.
Well, this sounds like it's about the Brahmana Gita. Do you want to find a verse from Brahmana Gita?
Actually, it was...
Oh, something else. Okay.
Related.
Something related. Yeah, so this is when Uddhava has been sent by Krishna to Vrindavan as a messenger to convey condolence. Would you say condolence? He's not condolence. A message, yeah. A message of his affection and care for the residents of Vrindavan. And when he meets with the gopis, this bumblebee comes, this Brahmara. And the name Radharani is not there in the Bhagavatam, but it's understood. The acharyas identify that this particular gopi is none other than Srimati Radhika, and she speaks to this Brahmana, this 10 verses, and this is considered the topmost expression, or it's the core of the Bhagavatam, isn't it? There's the Rasa Lila, but then there's this expression of feeling of separation. 47th chapter.
Some say it's the most important chapter in the Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
Because it happens. Because that chapter is also later reflected in Jagannath Puri. Mahaprabhu speaking. There's something we're translating right now. I'm hoping will appear if it comes out right. It's one of the reasons why you don't see me all the time. And from the 11th chapter of the Adi Purana, it's being translated by a nice lady in South India for us. It's an interesting story how Lord Brahma, after he was born, he became full of anxiety. And then the Lord appeared before him, it says the Paramatma appeared, as Brihingadeep. Brihingadeep was a bumblebee. And that bumblebee spoke to Lord Brahma, told him, "You're Lord Brahma, and this and this and this." And then later there was another rishi, whose name was Kiravir, and he'd taken the form of a bird. And Kiravir went to Brihingadeep and asked him, "Look, would you tell me about Srimati Radharani?" And Brihingadeep tells him about this bumblebee, tells him all about Radharani's family line and how Radharani appeared. And so reading it, I was thinking, this must be the bee.
That's the one. Very nice. Yeah, so there's no limit to Krishna Lila. I often say, we read the verses at the end of the 9th canto. It says, Krishna killed many demons. And then we read in the 10th canto, so many demons are killed. But actually, Jiva Goswami in Gopala Champu, I think, he says that Krishna kills at least one demon every day while he's in Vrindavan. Is that in Gopal Champu? Anyway,
but that sounds like
at least one demon a day, and sometimes two.
Sometimes two.
One in the morning, one in the afternoon, just for exercise. Yeah. So I'm looking at the clock. I think we should have some time now to have a break, and some of us may want to chant japa, some of us may want to have darshan and meditate on Shri Shri Gandharvika Giridhari. So I'll leave you with a verse which it was printed out in the Brahmacharya ashram in Schloss Rettershof in Germany many years ago. And because we had heard that there's this Gayatri mantra for the Brahmins, but what about us bhaktas and maybe first initiated to brahmacharis? So this was called the Jayati mantra. So we got to learn, we could learn the Jayati mantra. Jayati janani vaso devaki janmavado yadavara parishat svairdorbir asyana dharmam stirachara vijinagna susmita shimukena raja pura vanitanan vardhayan kamadevan. It's an interesting verse because it begins describing sort of Krishna at a distance, and it moves to Krishna up close as Kamadevan. And but Svardorbira Asyana Dharmam, this is what made me think of it. With his powerful arms, he is protecting the devotees. But actually, one more verse I think we should remember. It's somehow not complete otherwise. And that is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, because what can we understand about Krishna except through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? When I was in Vrindavan doing this research on the Radharaman temple, they told me that at one time, maybe more than 100 years earlier, one of their congregation, one of their followers of the Radharaman community, had brought a small Ashtadhatu, I guess, deity, murti of Srimati Radharani to give, to be worshipped next to Radharaman. You may be familiar, in the temple of Radharaman, there's Radharaman, and there's not exactly a murti of Radharani. There's what they call Gaddi Seva. I won't go into that, but there's not a murti proper. So someone gave a murti, and they installed the murti, and they were having Radharaman. And they were worshipping for some time until one of the priests, it may have been Gunamanjari Goswami, I'm not sure, had a dream one night in which Radharaman Lal appeared to him and said, you know, actually, there's no need for her to be here. Because we're already together. We're already in this one form, basically. So, yeah, it's not the rasa, okay? And so the next morning, the Goswami reported, and I guess they had a meeting, and they discussed, and they concluded, okay, Radharani will go to one of their outlying branch temples. They have other temples of some of the Goswami priests. And so I believe that deity is worshipped somewhere else, in another town. But the point is, they also understand that Radharaman is Chaitanya. Because Chaitanya is, who is Chaitanya? Radha Krishna Nahayanya. So Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Ladina Shakti Rasmat Ekatmana Vapi Bhuvi Pura Deha Vedam Gatau Chaitanya Kyam Prakadam Tatvayam Chaikyam Aptam Radha Bhava Duti Suvalitam Naomi Krishna Swarupam. This is Swarup Damodar Goswami, I believe, composed this in Chaitanya Charitamrita. That, yes, Ramana.
Wasn't it Gopal Bhatta Goswami doing puja for Radharaman, and he manifest as Chaitanya had that vision at that time when he was doing puja, and from then on the understanding was there, basically 3 in 1, Radha, Krishna, Chaitanya.
Well, I hadn't heard that, but it makes perfect sense.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't have an instant pramana, but I think that's the story. I've heard that Gopal Bhatta was doing puja, and Chaitanya manifest, and he had that realization. He's worshipping Chaitanya as well as Radharaman.
Let it be so understood. Yes.
What came to my mind was that
Hare Krishna. What came to my mind, I was really enthused when you're saying that that's their understanding, because the beginning of the story is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to Gopal Bhatta in a dream, telling him, you go to Gandaki, you will achieve all my mercy there. And later on, one of the Shilas turned into Radharaman.
Yeah.
It's an amazing connection.
So that's actually part of the story.
Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to Gopal Bhatta.
Yeah, all these stories, they connect and they interconnect. They interconnect. We are interneted. But anyway, the point is, Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Ladini Shakti Rasmat, that Radha and Krishna are appearing there. They're one, they become two, and again they become one. And how they become one is as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Our understanding of who is Krishna appearing in this world is not accessible. It's only accessible, we understand it's only accessible through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, on that note, I would like to end and say thank you all very much and have a wonderful Janmashtami Titi today. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Radhika Giridhari ki jai, Samaveta Bhaktavrinda ki jai, Shri Nrsimha Jai Nrsimha Jai Jai Nrsimha. Praladesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringa. We can also pray to Nrsimhadev as Bhaktivinoda Thakur does in his what is the Navadvipa Tarangini Navadvipa Tarangini Bhavat, yes, Navadvipa Bhavat Tarangini. He prays to Lakshmi Nrsimha to bless him, to purify his heart so that Radha and Krishna will appear in his heart. So in that way, it makes perfect sense that we are here today in Simhachalam. What do you think? Yes? No? Yes. No? Yes. Gaur Premanande.